kwanza nisaidie rais, ndio mkubwa yangu.
This 34 years, when you are exiting, this region must produce the next president.
Wenye how are you doing? I hope you are doing fine. Now, it's another day, another story. Over the weekend, the president, that is William Ruto, was in Nyanza, and there were a lot of speeches that were made in front of him, specifically in Homa Bay. And there's this one speech that caught my eye. That is the speech from the Treasury CS, that is John Mbadi. In his speech, he said that Kikuyus have ruled Kenya for 35 years. The Kalenjins will rule for 34 years. That is if Ruto is given the second term. And he claimed that after Ruto, it should be a Luo. Let's listen to him and decode what might this message mean, because to the eyes it just might be literal, but when you look into it deeper, it can be something. Listen.
How else can someone love you? How else can someone work with you? Your Excellency, we will give you a second term. And what we are saying is the moment we give you a second term, we will be counting years. We'll be counting years. Kenyatta served this country for 15 years. Kibaki did 10 years. Uhuru did 10 years. That is cumulatively 35 years. Moi did 24 years. You are doing 10 years. That is 34 years. When you are exiting, this region must produce the next president of the Republic of Kenya. And we will give you the right people with the right qualification and the right competence and the right ability to steer this country forward to the next level.
As always, here comes the story. There was a matatu conductor who had just gotten a job yesterday, day one kabisa. But instead of focusing on collecting fare for that trip, he was already telling passengers, hii route ya leo ni ya boss, but by 2032, hii gari itakuwa yangu, mimi ndio nitakuwa dereva. Passengers are just looking at him like, bro, hata change ya 50 ujarudisha, already unapangia gari ya 2032. Ladies and gentlemen, that is exactly what Kenyan politics look like right now. Now let's talk about Mbadi. Over the weekend, in Homa Bay County, during a tour by William Ruto, Cabinet Secretary John Mbadi dropped what can only be described as a 2032 trailer. Not 2027, not the current government, 2032. He basically said, Kikuyus have ruled for about 35 years, Kalenjins will clock about 34 years after Ruto's second term. Then, it will be time for Luo leadership. Translation, it simply means, after boss amalize, tafadhali msitusahau. Let's break this down. First, some context. Kenya has indeed had long presidential dominance from certain regions. Jomo Kenyatta from 1963 to 1978. Daniel Arap Moi from 1978 to 2002. Mwai Kibaki from 2002 to 2013. Uhuru Kenyatta from 2013 to 2022. And now William Samoei Ruto. So Mbadi is not inventing numbers from thin air. There has been regional rotation of power, even if unofficial. But here's the problem. Kenyan presidency is not a queue system. Mbadi is talking like presidency is, next please, Luo community, kuja uchukue kiti. Kenya is not a barber shop. It doesn't work like Kikuyu, Kalenjin, Luo loading. Politics here is brutal. Numbers, alliances, money, timing, narrative. Note, it's your turn. What's the real play here? Let's be honest, Mbadi is not just making a speech, he is positioning himself early, very early, because inside Luo politics, there is a vacuum slowly forming after Raila Odinga, and everybody knows it. So Mbadi is basically saying, when that time comes, mimi ndio niko. Let's look at the Luo succession battle. Mbadi calling himself the most influential Luo politician is not a small claim, as he is always claiming in every meeting he attends, because that space is crowded. Look at James Orengo. Look at Anyang' Nyong'o, who Raila Odinga left in charge of ODM when he was going for the AU chairmanship. Gladys Wanga, who is currently the party chairperson. The likes of Babu Owino. Yeah. So kusema wewe ndio top dog, that one is not analysis, that's application letter. So why did he choose to say this in front of Ruto? This is where it gets interesting. Mbadi said this in front of Ruto. That is not accidental, that's strategic. He's basically telling Ruto, support me later, I'll support you now. Classic Kenyan political deal. Support now is equals to an endorsement later. But there's a problem. Mbadi is planning 2032, but 2027 is not even secured, and Kenyan politics changes faster than Safaricom bundles. By 2032, alliances will have shifted, new leaders will have emerged, today's friends will be tomorrow's enemy. So planning 2032 loudly in 2026, that's like booking a honeymoon before proposing. He is forgetting that even Kithure Kindiki is also in the area, and for him to claim that 2032 there must be a Luo, meaning that he is positioning himself even as early as 2027 to be given a running mate. Yeah, these are just those small undertones that you won't hear loudly, but it implies the same. Let's look at the brutal truth. Let's be very honest. This was not about history, fairness, or national unity. This was about branding Mbadi for the future and testing the waters, seeing how people react. In one sentence, Kenyan politicians don't wait for the race to start. They start campaigning for the next race, while still running the current one badly. Mbadi has officially entered the chart for 2032, but the real question is, will Kenyans still be listening by then? Or will another matatu conductor have already taken the steering wheel? Let's say Kindiki. If you enjoy this, subscribe to HiiStory, because here we don't just follow politics, we expose the game behind the statements. And with that, bye.